In the headlines, Prime Minister Skerrit says he is committed to protecting Dominicans from COVID-19, even if that means limiting personal freedom. President Savre appealed to Dominicans to follow the guidelines under the Emergency Powers Amendment Act as it is in their best interest. And development projects for the Soufriere area under review due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
Giving away $30,000 in cash, 2 bags of money plus a grand every Friday.
We're flowing better every day, and now we're making parties great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
We flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
When you feel a sneeze or a cough coming, covering your mouth prevents the spread of germs. You probably knew that. But the way you cover up also matters, and that means breaking a habit you've held near and dear all your life. Cover your nose and mouth with your flexed elbow or a tissue, not your hands. Discard the used tissue immediately. Then wash your hands. Help stop the spread of germs. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
A message by the Health Promotion Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Dominica.
Avec Flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec Flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec Flow. Animez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, support for a resolution in Parliament on Monday to extend the state of emergency by 3 months and the curfew by another 3 weeks means additional restrictions on Dominicans' basic freedoms. Prime Minister Skerrit told the Parliament on Monday, while it was not his wish to curtail individual freedoms, he has a responsibility to protect lives, and his government was prepared to do all that was necessary to do so.
From my own personal ideological standing, I am against the taking of people's right to free movement. I am dead against this from a fundamental ideological standpoint. But this is not an ideological battle, Mr. Speaker. This is about a battle to save lives and to save the lives of our citizens of Dominica. And we are prepared as a government to take all of the measures to protect every single life in this country. And those who call on life, on death, I rebuke the calling of death on anybody, Mr. Speaker. None of us shall die in this country by the grace of God from this virus. That's what we should pray for, not to call on doom and gloom and death on a people or a nation. That's not what it is. The Bible did not teach us that. And neither do we get this counsel in Sunday school. We must always speak life on people, longevity on people, good health on people, Mr. Speaker. And that's what we shall continue to pray for. We will do everything humanly possible to protect our citizens. And that which we can't do for ourselves and by ourselves, we shall look to the Most High, Mr. Speaker.
The Prime Minister also observed that the country was fortunate in having the capability to test for the COVID-19.
Testing is critical. This must be driven by data. That's what the experts say. Yes, it has to be a combination of quarantine, staying indoors, social distancing, but also critically testing. And so far we have done over 277 tests because we have the lab and the facilities and the trained personnel to do so. Do we have a perfect system to fight this COVID virus? The answer is no. But which country has? None. None. And we empathize with every single country in this world and every single nation in this world. States who are combating this virus with varying degrees of success. And when you look at the deaths all over the world, Mr. Speaker, it brings a chill to our butts. And so we sympathize with the nations that have had deaths so far and the citizens of the world, because this has to be a battle of unity against this virus, Mr. Speaker.
In response to the opposition's call for a stimulus package, the Prime Minister had this to say.
And I say to the people of Dominica that we will spare no effort of providing the resources required, as expensive and demanding as it is, to ensure we can treat and save lives in our country. And that is our commitment. There are some who will come and talk about stimulus package. That is fine, that is great. But that is not our preoccupation now. Our preoccupation now, our preoccupation now is about fighting this virus. Because what, as one economist says, what benefit is economic stimulus if none of us are alive to benefit from it? And we're not saying that we're not doing things behind the scenes, Mr. Speaker. I have had meetings with the IMF, I have had meetings with the World Bank, we've had meetings at the Monetary Council in order to mobilize resources, speaking with the European Union, and to see whether we can redirect existing resources to assist persons who will be directly impacted financially and economically by this disease. Just on Friday we met at the Monetary Council and we reduced the discount rate from 6.5% to 2%. Making more liquidity, more money available to the banks in the Monetary Council, so that in the hope that they can lend to the private sector at cheaper interest rates, Mr. Speaker. These are the actions we're taking. And when people talk about caring for people in this country, nobody can surpass the compassion of this Dominican Labour Party.
In more top stories, the Dominican public is being urged to follow the guidelines under the Emergency Powers Amendment Act 2020 and the curfew order. President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savre, says the act, which was passed in Parliament on Monday, is in the best interest of the Dominican people during the pandemic.
On Monday, the 6th of April 2020, the House of Assembly met in emergency session to extend the state of emergency to 3 months and the curfew order by an additional 21 days. I am particularly pleased that both sides of the House of Assembly gave their support to the motion for the extension of the proclamation and the curfew order issued as a result. This unanimous vote in favor by the members of the House signals the severity of the challenge confronting us as a people.
The President further urged the public to adhere to the social distancing measures as outlined by health authorities.
It is therefore important that each and every one of us observes the social distancing of 6 feet or 2 meters that is recommended by our health authorities, the Pan American Health Organization, the World Health Organization, and the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CAFA. There is no substitute. It is a preventive and precautionary measure. We do not have to second guess who is affected and who is not, because we may have an infected person who may show no symptoms whatsoever, and yet he may pass on the virus by personal contact.
In addition to observing and practicing social distancing, individuals will caution to engage in good hand and respiratory hygiene to protect themselves and the wider public.
We must similarly observe all the personal hygiene recommendations regarding hand sanitizing, sneezing and coughing etiquette, and the wearing of masks in public. This is a call, an appeal, if you will, for us to stay at home if we do not have compelling reasons to be outside, and to observe strictly the curfew periods. All of us in a position of leadership and influence must add our voices to this national call to take action to fight and defeat this virus, which threatens all of us.
His Excellency also gave high commendation to all the frontline workers for their dedication to the task at hand. Changes associated with the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic continue to be felt island-wide. Julian Morris tells us more.
A number of travel and other restrictions have been put in place as the country combats the spread of the virus. This is evident across the island, especially in Maho, which has been dubbed the village that never sleeps. Channel 5 News spoke to chairperson of the Maho Village Council to find out how the community is adjusting to these new limitations.
I have been home, but I've been hearing it. It's the first time they see Maho sleeping. First time Maho is sleeping, and indeed, it is for our good. So that's okay, but all of us have to do what we have to do, yeah? To keep that COVID-19 at bay. So it's affecting everybody in the same way. There are 2 areas in Maho that's always kind of populated on the main road and on the Canberra road. And it is quiet indeed. And persons are saying that. But it's for our good. But it's very slow indeed, yeah.
The main road in Maho is seen as one of the busiest as people travel along the west coast of the country. However, there's been an ease in traffic as people heed the call of social distancing and limited number of people per vehicle.
Fortunately, since the restriction, I've left my home twice to come to Roseau, and as soon as I reach on the road, I got a bus that's empty. I came on a bus this morning with around five passengers. I paid the bus driver $5 because I see that the number is decreased. So at least just to help them, I give him $5. So it doesn't take anything much from me. But everybody feels the strain, and not many bus drivers on the road at all. Those who are there, I thank them. It's a risk, and I hope that they can be subsidized sometime soon. So maybe I figure that's why they are maybe taking the little chance to do that service, which is good.
The level of fishing in Maho has dropped as well due to the measures put in place for COVID-19. The residents are being commended for playing their part in adhering to these measures.
Well, yes, Maho has a lot of fishermen, but when the time is open, they go and see and swallow the catch. They adhere to the restricted time, 6 a.m. to 1, 2 o'clock, and then that's it. But we do get a little fish, but not as frequent as before. In my area, where I live at Jimmet, and Jimmet is generally a quiet area, so it's not anything that, to say like it's messed up anything. So, but the people are hearing, because you are hearing them saying, in Maho as well, you're hearing them saying, remember you're not supposed to come by me, you know, remember what they say, so which is good. So we are each other's keepers, so we should just maintain, the distancing, wash our hands frequently.
The Minister for Health, who has been leading frontline healthcare workers in the fight against COVID-19, says individuals must first be safe if the wider community is to be safe. The Health Minister told the Parliament on Monday the only way to fight COVID-19 was as a collective. He said Dominica was doing its best in the fight against COVID-19, considering its resources and manpower.
We are putting everything that we have right behind our defense and our preparedness as regards to COVID-19. Our approach, and that is the approach that the international community and all the experts have agreed on, it's based on case identification and social distancing. So our case identification activities have been extensive. We've been going all out there. As a matter of fact, if you were to see the reports, most probably Dominica has done the most cases in most of the Caribbean islands. But that also is because we have the capacity to do those cases. That's because we have the PCR machine, and that's because we have the tests and the reagents that we can do it.
The minister gave an update on the fight against the COVID-19 up to Monday.
So far, we have identified 3 index cases. Index case 1 gave us 9 contacts. So index case 1 and the 9 contacts would be 10 cases. Index case 2, we tested all the contacts. They were all negative. Index case 3, we got 2 of the contacts positive and 1 of the contacts of that contact, which is the first second generation contact, positive. So that means we have a 10 plus 1, that's 11, plus the third one, that's 12. 2 contacts of number 3, that's 14, and 1 second generation, so that's 15 cases. So that is where we stand at now. But we can only say that because we have done extensive amount of testing. That is our case identification program, which we know is working, and the international community is commending us for that, considering we have done many more cases than so many of the Caribbean islands.
The minister commended frontline workers for the progress made so far in case identification and contact tracing. You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Si ou ni maladie HIV et bien maladie sexuelle, si ou pas protéger corps là ou kane sexe avec plusieurs monde, ça kay mette la vie ou en gros danger. Ou ka exposer tout partenaire au poison et que tant ki ka vini avec maladie. Serve yo condom chaque fois ou kane sexe. Changer qui est important pour découvrir maladie à bonheur ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Pour responsabilité, protéger corps et puis les autres. Examiner corps. Aider du bout si même maladie HIV et l'autre maladie sexuelle.
With Flow, when I bag of money, cash out. Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
Yo, check this. Flow is giving away $30,000 in cash.
Oh, yeah.
2 bags of money plus $1,000 every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making Fridays great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
When you feel a sneeze or a cough coming, covering your mouth prevents the spread of germs. You probably knew that. But the way you cover up also matters, and that means breaking a habit you've held near and dear all your life. Cover your nose and mouth with your flexed elbow or a tissue, not your hands. Discard the used tissue immediately. Then wash your hands. Help stop the spread of germs. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
A message by the Health Promotion Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Dominica.
helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Avec Flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec Flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec Flow. Animez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. A number of development projects for Soufriere are now being re-evaluated. Julian Morris tells us why.
Resilient Dominica, or ResDM, is an organization created after Hurricane Maria to help develop resilience in the communities of Soufriere, Scottsdale and Galion. To date, ResDM has successfully renovated and outfitted the Soufriere Primary School, which was damaged by the 2017 hurricane, and has other projects on the cards to benefit the communities. Project manager for ResDM, Simon Walsh, says some aspects of these projects can continue during the COVID-19 pandemic, which has put a standstill on normal life across the world.
So if we look at the jetty in Scottsdale, we can proceed with the planning and implementation stage of that, because a lot of that is simply architectural work, design work, going to fisheries and going to planning and making sure that all those things are in place. And if that takes a year, 6 months from now, it doesn't matter, then we could start looking at doing the actual construction phase. So we can proceed with that particular project and say that hopefully by the time this COVID-19 situation has blown over, we will then be ready to initiate the construction phase. So it doesn't necessarily affect that project.
A number of projects carried for developing resiliency in these southwestern communities have had to be put on the back burner due to the implications associated with the COVID-19 pandemic.
But if you look at some other projects we were lining up, like coral reef restoration, we were going to have some seminars and workshops here in Dominica in the month of May. All international travel has now shut down, so that project now is pretty much on the sidelines. The backup water supply at the school is something that's, we actually had an interesting meeting with CREED, where we were really looking at autonomy for 14 days for their looking island-wide, and we're of course looking in Soufriere, Scottsdale and Galion communities. So we're looking at, we've sort of reopened that area because we think partnering with CREED we can bring in more international partners and we're hoping that we can do a production of construction of a preschool that would also have integrated into it the water autonomy.
Apart from projects being put on hold, some assistance from international partners will take some time to come through.
So some of our partners that we were working with, they have been redirecting their efforts. World Kitchen is one of them. They've been redirecting their efforts into dealing with people that are hungry because of COVID-19, because of the coronavirus. So a lot of the international aid NGOs are now concentrating on this. And so attention has been taken off some of the projects in the Caribbean and some of the hurricane projects. So for sure, ResDM is affected.
And Dominicans continue to be warned against disregarding social distancing. Domlec had to close its offices on Monday to bring the crowds under control. The company is reviewing new measures which it says are meant to protect its customers and staff from COVID-19. Monday's incident proved that there are still some individuals who do not respect social distancing recommendations from the World Health Organization or local health authorities. The Prime Minister addressed that concern in Parliament on Monday.
Now is for us to do what is required and what is advised to fight this virus, Mr. Speaker. And I'm saying, I'm having this impassioned plea to our citizens. Please, it is better your life cut than your life cut. So when you go out there and you see Domlec lying outside full up, I say, my brother, boy, I'm going home. I'm going home. and come back when you see the line is reasonable or in keeping with the social distancing policy enunciated by the Ministry of Health. Each of us has a responsibility to our safety. And each of us has a duty to protect each other. And if we have that simple understanding, life would be much better and less difficult for all of us.
Avec flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec flow. And il mettez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, every video join flow. It only gets better with flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
With Flow, when a bag of money cash out, get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
Yo, check this. Flow is giving away $30,000 in cash.
Oh, yeah.
2 bags of money plus a grand every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making Fridays great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
To end the news, the headlines again. Prime Minister Skerrit says he is committed to protecting Dominicans against COVID-19, even if that means limiting personal freedom. President Savre appealed to Dominicans to follow the guidelines under the Emergency Powers Amendment Act as it is in their best interest. And development projects for the Soufriere area under review due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.